Hey everybody, welcome back to another MRE Security YouTube video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how to chain different API vulnerabilities. So this challenge is called NeoVault, and it says NeoVault is a trusted banking app for fund transfers and downloading transaction history. You're invited to explore the app, find potential vulnerabilities, and uncover the hidden flag within. And here we do have the host, and we'll copy it over to our URL and we'll see what's going on. We'll actually put it inside of Chromium. I just recorded this video and the recording corrupted, so I need to redo it completely now. So here we have the application, and we see here that there is a login page. So we'll just supply it some dummy data, so test@test.com, and then we'll just set our password and we'll click on register. And it looks like the username has to be over 6 characters, so we'll just change that to testing, and we'll set this to testing, and then we'll log in to the application. First thing that we can notice here is that there is a $100 balance in our account, which means we do have one transaction. So we could take a look at transfer and deposit. So we'll take a look at transfer first, and we know that there is a user by the name of Neo Systems. And we'll try to just put in maybe a negative balance and see if there is some business logic flaw. So we'll just do test, and then we'll do shopping, transfer money, and it looks like it needs to be over. So we'll just put in 1, click on transfer money, and we'll click transfer, and it looks like that was successful. If we go back to transactions, we can see that that is working. We also have a download PDF button here that we could take a look at in just a second. We could try to deposit some money, and when we say make, it says under maintenance, so that does not work. But we do have this download PDF functionality that we could take a look at. So we'll just head on over to Burp Suite, and we will intercept this to see what is going on. So we'll click download, and we can see here that it says the transaction download transactions. So we'll forward that over, and in repeater we could see that it is a post request. When we click on send, it looks like we just get a PDF out of it. So let's take a look at what it is. So we'll just click on keep transactions, and we can see here that it just shows our transactions with our username as well as the people we were transacting to. So there's not a whole lot going on, but something that was weird is if you looked at the download, we could see that it says transactions here, but if we look inside of our Burp Suite, we could see that it is a statement.pdf, meaning that there are 2 PDFs being downloaded. There's the transaction one, and there's a statement one. So whenever it comes to API security, something that you want to check whenever you see V2 is you want to set it to V1, because sometimes developers forget that V1 is active, and those actually have the vulnerabilities in it, not the updated version. And in this case, that's exactly what's going on. So if you do /API/V2 and you modify it to API V1 and you click send, we could see that we do have an ID, an underscore ID is not provided, and that is most likely going to be our parameter that we need to use. So we'll just type in ID, and we'll need to find an ID for that specific user, which in this case is going to be the Neo Systems that we're targeting. So looking back at the proxy, we could take a look at some of our HTTP history and see what's going on. We see that there is a me, which is a 304 not modified. It looks like it's just being cached, but we have an inquire endpoint here, and we see that there is an ID. So we have the ID now of Neo System, and because we know that this PDF is being generated, on the back end, we could just paste in the ID with the Neo System ID, and this is now an IDOR vulnerability, where we are accessing another user's information without their authorization. So clicking on it, we can see that the PDF is being generated, and we can just show response in browser. We'll copy it over to Chrome, and we'll paste it on in. We could see that we do have the system 2, and when we click on keep and statement, we could see that now we have a new user called user with flag. And we already know that there's user enumeration on this machine. So if we head on over to Burp Suite and we go back to that specific endpoint, so the inquire endpoint, and we modify this username to be the user with flag user, when we click enter, we could see now that we have their ID as well. So copying this over to our original request, which is downloading the transaction PDF, we can now do another IDOR vulnerability on this user and click on show response in browser, copy, go to Chromium, I will paste it on in once again. We'll keep this statement, and we could see here that we do retrieve the flag. So hack the box, not so easy IDOR. So this was a pretty easy challenge, right? The difficulty level was set to very easy, but it kind of gives you an understanding of what these hack the box challenges are going to start looking like. They're going to be a lot of chaining things together, right? So the first vulnerability that we found from the V1 to the V2 is called an improper inventory management vulnerability, and you can look it up in the OWASP top 10 APIs. And essentially, you can just start brute forcing the endpoints and see whether or not the versions match. So if V1 is still active, you'll be able to find vulnerabilities in V1. If V2 is active, you may even be able to find vulnerabilities inside of the V2. Or if they're starting to develop V3 that may also be on the production website, you can also try to find vulnerabilities on V3. In addition to that, that endpoint also had an IDOR vulnerability in it. We were then able to access different PDFs from different users, essentially exposing the flag within that said PDF. So the next challenge that we're going to be taking a look at is called OnlyHacks. And we have the host here. So we'll just copy it and paste it in to the URL, and we'll see what we have to work with. And it says, where love is the ultimate life hack. So we can come here and sign up. And we'll just put, again, our standard username. So we'll do testing. I'll do testing again. We'll just set our name to testing with the age and whatever else it really requires. We'll set the profile as well. And we'll just set it to this panda that's eating bamboo stick. So we'll click on register. And we could see that we have a few people here, and it looks like a standard dating app. So you could just start swiping left and right to see which works, which doesn't. We have 2 buttons here that accept or decline, a dashboard, as well as matches. So looking at the matches, we see that we do have one. And the first thing we could try is just typing and seeing if this is an AI or what exactly is going on to this. And it really doesn't seem like this pro. Oh, there we go. So it just takes a second, but they do reply back. So we could try to do something like an XSS payload just to see if this is what we have to do. And it looks like that did work. But what exactly can we do with this XSS payload to retrieve something? Well, you could try add a bandit tax and see if that works. But I'm not going to go through everything just because I don't want to waste your guys' time. This is not going to be the way that we're going to have to retrieve the flag from this challenge. How to go about doing it is another IDOR vulnerability on this app, which is inside of the RID here. Inside of this RID parameter, you could just start setting the different numerical values, and it'll return either an error message or you'll be able to retrieve something back. So if we just keep going, we could see that on the RID number 3, it says, don't trust strangers blindly. So we can copy the flag and paste it into Hack the Box. So that's all for these 2 challenges. I hope you did enjoy and you learned something new about API security. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below, and please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.